All right, testing camera. Okay, I think the camera is pretty bad right now. Okay, but this is the best I have it. The quality is bad, I know. Okay, hey folks, it's Ziggy98 here, and it's me, Ivan. You can't see my face right now, but what are we doing is I am going to be repairing, or should I say, having an extension. Let me just set this. Oh, this camera angle is really bad. Okay, I think this is the best I can have it. But anyway, as you guys can see, this is the Sparrow. It's a pusher, so basically the motor is on the rear, and the battery is at the front. So this makes a really hard and weird CG balancing. So as a result, there's a big problem. Either I shift the battery back further and push this wire back further until these two can connect. But the problem is that if you shift the CG backwards, what's gonna happen? You guys know, it's not gonna fly because it's off balance. So the battery have to stay at the front, and this thing has to stay in the rear because it's a pusher. So what ended up happening is that these wire is not long enough to be connected. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to get my board connectors, and we have wires that we're just going to solder these board connector on and put them on here to have an extension, so the rear motor can the wire here can connect to my ESC right here, which can run my battery. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Again, I want to move my camera because I want to show you guys my setup. As you guys can see, I have my hot heat gun. We have some heat shrinks, some safety goggles right here. I know this is the worst quality. Again, I'm not a professional at YouTuber, but everyone got to start somewhere, right? Electrical tape, soldering. What is this thing called? I don't know, but soldering metal, flux. We have something here to wipe off my solder. We have a cutting mat, but this is woody, so my table doesn't get damaged. We also have some tools, wire stripper, wire cutters, and solder itself. And my hot glue gun. We're not going to use that, but we also have a helping hand that can help me, clamp things down. So this is the setup. This is what we got. Quick look. All right, so this is the setup. All right, then let's begin. Let's begin. Can you guys hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I think it works. All right, let's begin. Let me just set this camera back down here. All right. So what we're gonna do. Oh my God, what just happened? What's happening to my stream? Hello? Okay, I'm still live. Something happened to my stream for a sec. That thing was touching the keyboard, so okay. All right. So continue on with the live stream. I think this is angle a bit down. What I'm going to do is get this out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing right here so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Gotta wire up these extensions. Whoa. Okay. This wire way down. Can we have it like this? Yes, this is better. Just want to get everything in frame, guys. Just want to try to get everything in frame, which is hard. Okay, I think this is good enough. We have this thing here. We have some wire cutters and strippers, or we're going to get started. First of all, guys, what you want to do, which is hard to show on camera, you want to be able to measure the distance between. This connection and this connection. The best way to do that is actually, just doing this, but me eyeballing it, I'm guessing that this looks like it's 12 centimeters. Yeah, I try to give this around 12 centimeters. That's how I want to measure it. So I'm going to cut it to length. Well, you know what I'm going to do actually is that I'm going to have to charge my battery because I need to test this out later. So what I'm going to need to do is charge my battery. So this, guys, just give me a second. I'm going to have to charge my battery because I need to test this out later. So I'm going to have to charge my battery. So let me just do that real quick. All right. Cool. All right. So battery's charging. While that's happening, let's get to work. All right. So while that's happening, let's get to work. Again, I'm going to measure this to length for centimeters. At the same time, I'm going to turn on my soldering. So I'm going to do it now. Everything's plugged in already. I'm going to turn that on. All right, let's begin. Again, I'm sorry, guys. Not everything is in frame. So you guys cannot see what exactly my layout, what I'm doing. I'm trying to get that corrected, but money issue is a problem for me because I don't work. I don't get monetization on YouTube. So that's a problem. I'm not even sure if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Hello? 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 I don't think you guys can hear me. All right. All right. So I'm going to measure around 12 centimeters because you want to have some length. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to have to give yourself some room in case you guys make an error. I just got to test my mic quality. Hello? 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 Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. So this is 12 centimeters right here. So we're going to cut everything here to length. Cut everything here, 12 centimeters. So we're going to cut this equally to length. That's what we got. Afterwards, you're going to want to have a male and a female side. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm just trying to focus right now, because I'm afraid I might do it wrong. I'm not sure if this is correct. All right, there we go. Whoa. Okay, so that's good. Obviously, one end of the wires have to be male, and one end of the wire has to be female. So let's just get these out. Okay, these are two females. All right, so we let me just get two more males out. Okay, that's the important bit. So 2. Okay, that's good. Cool. So what we're gonna do, I think that what I'm gonna have to do is slightly strip this thing. Now we don't need that much, but what I'm gonna do is just gonna slightly strip. I'm just gonna slightly, ever so slightly, strip this part of the wire. Can I get this thing further back? There we go. So what I'm going to do is ever so slightly just strip this wire a little bit. So see this thing right here? Just going to strip it out a bit. And we don't want that much. We don't want to strip too much of it. We're just going to strip just a bit. Now, notice how I say slightly. We don't need to strip that much. And if you always strip it, you can always trim it down a bit. That's why I always give myself enough wire to work with. Just want to slightly strip this. All right, you can see right here. Stripped it a bit. Right here. Just want to strip it slightly. It's a bit too much, so you want to test fit this. It's a bit too much. You can always trim it down. There you go. I think I had this thing a bit too much. So I'm going to use my wire cutter. Just going to trim that off just a tiny hair. I'm just going to trim that off just a tiny hair. Obviously, these things need to be pre-soldered. All right, I think that's good enough. So I'm going to set this thing right here. I'll also set this thing right here. All right, and these things needs to be pre-soldered. So what we're going to do Let's add a bit of tinting. We need to tint it before we can connect it. So that's what needs to happen. Let's see. Hold on. Oh. All right. So tint a little bit on. And I might add a little bit of flux to go on with it. A little bit, tiny hair. Okay. And what we're gonna do is heat this up, transfer the heat, and add the solder. So okay, there we go. That is tinted. This one step of it tinted. Now we're going to heat this part up, tint this part up, and heat it up and apply solder. There we go. Now that's also applied. So remember, guys, you always want to make sure the tip of this is tinted, because if it's not tinted, it will oxidize. So that's something to keep in mind of. All right. So after that's completed, these two are going to go together. Going to extend this a little bit and connect this. So afterwards, what's going to happen, I'm going to heat this up. Hold on, guys. All right, I'm going to hold this like this. I'm going to heat this up, and it should just melt together. And you guys notice I didn't put heat shrink on yet, because I can always put heat shrink on this side running through. So, I can always apply that later. But that's not true in all cases. So just something to keep in mind. But in this case, I can apply all heat shrink later. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to heat this wire up till it melted. And there you go. I think that's pretty solid. You're going to have to apply heat shrink later. Actually, I need to apply more I need to apply more solder. There you go. That's a solder connection. There was the old solder and it was in there. Okay. So, all right, give a little bit of a pull test in a bit, just to see. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot. So this thing needs to cool off first. Try and blow on it. Yeah, it's hot. I don't want to pull on the wires, so what I'm gonna do. There we go. There we go. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the same for this wire, except this time it's gonna be the male side. I'm gonna apply heat shrink on it later, but yes, I'm going to have to strip the wire right here. I know I'm not doing the best of jobs, so we're just stripping. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just stripping, pull apart. If this camera can focus. All right. And this time we're going to apply this on the male connector. Again, I think this might be slightly too long. So what I'm going to do is just trim my hair. You don't want to trim it too much. Just want to trim my hair till you get this. And always you gotta pre-tin this. Yes, this thing needs to be pre-tinned, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to add a bit of flux. All right. After I do that, I'm going to apply heat. Just going to apply heat. And there you go. You just flow wire right into it. And then we're also going to apply heat to this. Probably apply some flux for good measure. It might be too much. That's slightly too much. All right, so we're going to apply heat. All right, there you go. Clean off the old solder and in with the new. It's just some solder on the tip is what you really need. All right, once that's completed, what I'm gonna do is just do something like this, and then I'm going to apply heat. And there you go. And there you have it. All right, now all that's left is apply the heat shrink in a bit, which I'll do later because there's still two other wires that I need to get the joint in, because again, this is a brushless motor and there needs to be 3 wires, so 3 extension is needed. So I'm going to do that now. Thank you guys for joining with me, guys. I just wanted to do this video real quick. You know, just so my viewers have something to watch. I know that, you know, for me at least, times are tough. It's hard for me to get a job, hard for me to find purpose. But I try to get up every day to realize that, you know what, my purpose are entertainment, making you guys happy. So if there's anything that you guys want to, you know, say, any tough times, you know, just reach out. I'm all ears. I'm here to listen. I know times are tough. Some people have it better than others, but you know, I know, guys. I sometimes don't have these things on frame because it's easier if I just bend my elbows up, but you guys can't see what I'm doing. Ugh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This setup is not ideal. I know. This setup is not ideal. But again, I try to make do. Try to make do with what I have. You know, just try to make do. Try to make do with what I have. So I'm gonna try to tint both wires right here. So let me just get that done. Let me just try to tint both wires. Oh, that's a lot of tint. Okay. Again, apply heat. Apply heat. All right, there we go. Let's off the old solder in with the new. I'm gonna do the same on this side. All right. Oh, you don't want to breathe that in. Unfortunately, I've just breathed a little bit of it in. All right, we're gonna do the same on this side. Strip. So I'm gonna strip this part. So I think it's right here. Just gonna strip. Again, if it's slightly too long, I'm gonna trim. Cool. I'll pre-tint this. All right, once that's done, put it right in the helping hand. We're just gonna. Oh, I finally got one viewer. Welcome. Welcome. Apply this. And you want to do the same for this side. There you go. Both of these wires are tinted now. Huh. Oh man, that's a problem. All right. So we're done with this. All right. All right. So next part, I want to pre-tin this. All right. Once that's completed, I'm gonna do this. Heat this up. Oh crap! I need more tint here. All right, there we go. Now getting rid of my old tint. All right, there we go. That's wire number 2. Where did my other wire go? All right, it's right here. So you guys can see I made 2 wires so far. I've already made 2 wires right here. So these are my extensions. So I already have 2 so far. All right, I need to make 1 more. All right, this is the last one. Oh, this thing gotta be pre-tinted. Forgot about that. Ooh. Starting to oxidize. Okay. All right. All right, good connection. Okay. Now we're gonna do this one last time. Obviously, pretend this. Get that in, and then both of these should be heated up. Alright, so we're gonna give each of these wire a pull test slightly, just to make sure that they don't come loose on me. Obviously this is hot, but I mean it looks pretty good. Alright, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna add heat shrink. So this is what I'm going to use. This is the heat shrink I'm going to use. It's pretty darn good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add so give around this much. That should be cut in the middle. Right around there. Just give it a good cut. So I want to cut this thing to length. I normally cut this thing 1/2, but because the female takes more of it, I'm gonna cut it slightly longer for the female than the male. And I come around right here. So there you go. That's for the male. There we go. And last but not least, this wire, I'll do the same. I'll cut it like this. So basically, I cut this thing like 1/3 for the male, 2/3 for the female, because the female takes more wires. They'll take more of the wire than the males, because the male, as you can see, it only takes about this much, whereas the female takes about the whole thing. So they need to cover. So they need more coverage. All right. So we just soldered this up, and then my extension wires are complete. What also needs to know is that before you put the solder away, always make sure that you have some tint on it. Otherwise, it will iron. Basically, those black broodings, you don't want that. So make sure that you also pre-tint this before you put this away. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that heat gun and then shrink these things up and finish the job. I really thank you all for joining. Let me guys, just let me know if you guys like me to do more of these. Just let me know. If you guys like these videos, I will try to do more. Oof. So I'm gonna put on my heat gun. So it's gonna be like this. And then we're going to apply heat. Apply heat over here. And this should shrink. So just want to make sure that I have it correctly placed. I'm gonna try to have this thing on the second setting. The heat gun I'm using is Porter cable. It's one of the best, in my opinion, heat guns. But anyway, I'm gonna use this thing to heat shrink this thing and shrink this thing up. Just gonna go like this. There you go. There you have it. Alright. I'm gonna do the same on this side. And there you have it. This extension wire is done. It's time to do the same for the rest of these. All right, that's it. Whew. That was wild. Whoa. Ooh. Anyway, so we now have these 3 wires completed. These 3 wires. Now I'm gonna test them if they fit on my plane. Let's see if they fit. Alright, gonna move everything else out of the way. So these things are gonna go under. Actually, that's not gonna go under. These 2 wires are gonna go under. So what's going on is that I'm going to attach these here, and they just fit right in like that. So these are the extension wires. I'm just filling them in. Okay, there we go. Now they're extended. Guys see that? Now these wires are now extended to pass through under. Pass through under. And then ultimately, they ended up out over here. And we're just gonna plug them in. That way, the CG is not compromised. Because otherwise, the CG will be compromised. And we're gonna have a problem. So there you go. This solution pretty much fixes the CG issue. Because now I literally have an extension running through and now everything fits. All is there left to do now is test it. So I'm just gonna get it running and test it. I have no idea if this will work or if this will blow up on my face. But again, I'm as curious as you guys. Then we have some exposed wire here. All right. Try not to have these wires touching each other. Some of these might be exposed. So what I'm going to do actually for the time being, since some of these things here are exposed, I'm going to maybe apply some electrical tape layer. But before I do that, I have to make sure. Actually, I don't have to because I can just adjust it on this side. So yeah, I guess I can just apply electrical tape. And the reason why I'm applying electrical tape is because I want to prevent a short later down the line, because that would be bad news. We don't want a short. So it's gonna look like this. So right here. Okay, we got some tape. And we're just gonna wrap this thing up like this. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. So apply some electrical tape. Reason being, because I saw some exposed wire. So it's best that we just, have that thing slightly patched up. Not a problem at all. So we're gonna have that thing there. So, again, the reason why I'm doing that is exposed wire, and the last thing I want is to create a short, because these three wires can't be touching each other. So we have to prevent that, because these three wires cannot touch each other, because once that happens, a short circuit will happen. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. Welcome. A guy just tuned into my stream. Welcome. I'm just fixing my plane here. So again, you guys saw 3 wires right here. Had to put electrical tape down. Why? Because if these things connect and this exposed wire, it will create problems. Basically, we don't want this motor to short out, so we're gonna have to put these 3 electrical tape. So here's the final result. We have the battery. We have the battery up at the front. Hello? Can that? I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. The mic is on, right? Can you guys confirm that? How is the audio? Because I can't say, but anyway, I mean, I could add more weight on the back right here. However, that will just create further complications because the CG will be very messed up. So I just extended it, and take a look. Here's the final result. Everything has been extended from the propeller to the ESC to the battery. It's all extended. I'm always gonna check the CG, but I hope everything works out. All right. All right. So that's the result. I'm gonna test it in a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna just test it now. Let's see the results. Let me just grab my controller. So this is my controller. This is what you saw the last time. Where I remember I did a live stream where I take this thing apart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select FT Sparrow. Where is it at? FT Sparrow. All right. So I have the Sparrow selected. I'm not sure you can see it. It's very blurry. But trust me, that says FT Sparrow. Again, I hope this thing does not blow up in my face. All right, guys. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. I'm plugging it in. Make sure my throttle has been cut. All right, plugging it in. It's perfect. Everything works out as it seems. Obviously, I have to get the wires down. All right, guys, there you have it. All right, let's see if the motor works, because that's the moment of truth. I'm scared, guys. All right, wish me luck. Whoa. Oh my God, it works! It works! It works!